Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
At thinking a while. So we're starting right on time here with a 5-minute delay.
Turn to
Team
ban.
Liquid versus Cloud9, the Group B upper bracket. To determine who's going to be taken first in their group and who's going to have to play another best of 3. Anyway, Gods, what are you thinking? Cloud9 versus Team Liquid? I know we talked early on about Liquid being the number 1 in their group, the number 1 seed, kind of probably the strongest team in this entire thing. Watching Cloud9, was it yesterday or the day before? Do you feel Cloud9 has a decent chance here against Liquid?
I think so. Liquid weren't as dominant as we perhaps expected. They had a couple shaky, like 3 real shaky early games against the Ninjas in Pajamas. I think draft-wise, they weren't really dominant. They weren't winning their games convincingly, although you could definitely tell, like, all right, they're the more kind of experienced team. They just seem to, like, kind of outclass NIP a bit. For Cloud9, though, I don't think they can play at the level they did against NIP. I think Cloud9 is a team who's much better just kind of at the general objective aspect of Dota right now. They've been together a bit longer. Their lineups in general are a bit more 5-manny than what we saw out of NIP. So I think Cloud9's a team that will punish Liquid if they have an off day, like I feel they did against.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
The second opportunity, and they go for the more, I guess, malleable pick in the Slardar, leaving Lone Druid to team.
Yeah, Cloud9 are kind of in that second boat where yesterday we saw one game of Lone Druid from them, but it was like a 3rd or 4th pick Lone Druid. They picked it much deeper in the draft against Alliance. And I think for Cloud9, I mean, I guess to touch on them and their performance and like how I feel like they can do, I don't feel like they got truly tested against Alliance. Alliance just kind of fell apart in a couple of those games, had really wonky drafts that were kind of all in. So the Cloud9 I'm kind of expecting to see is based on some of their previous results, but based on, I don't think there's a lot to take away from that series against Alliance. Yeah.
10 seconds remaining. Liquid's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's nice here to kind of start off a fight when you're going for some kind of like a death ball type draft or something a bit more team fight heavy, because right now Liquid are going to take some time to come online with the Lone Druid in theory. Dazzle's not a support that's going to offer much at all against a Brewmaster as well, so liking the opening from Cloud9. I think they have the ability to put pressure onto Liquid's draft, and we'll see what Liquid look to do to try and remedy that problem, because that's kind of got to be what's kind of going through Kuro's head right now. It's like, okay, Cloud9's going to be running at us, maybe not so much in the laning stage, but at least in the mid game, what's the solution going to be? Mm-hmm.
10 seconds remaining.
The Lone Druid. And
it's banned out already.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, I missed that. Cloud9 very first ban. Battle. Boom.
Reserve time.
That's a very targeted ban against Kuro, but I guess they just see it as an annoying hero they just don't like versing. If they want to go for these early 5-man pushes, it is a hero that will stop that.
Good.
10 seconds remaining.
Maybe pick up
5 seconds remaining.
Darkseers is always great. Like
Darkseer.
that's. Darkseer is more great if you
Reserve
can pair
time.
it with a nice 4-position playmaker, which there are still like. The Earth Spirit's still in the pool for GH if you want to play that. He's played quite a bit of the Pudge, which is still
Earth
also in
Spirit
the
was
pool.
first pick.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, you're right. All right. Nope. Can't see bans today, apparently.
Do you like see I suggested Clockwork because I think I like an initiating offlaner when you're running a lone
Mhm.
druid. What do you think? Do you think a mech offlaner that has been a lot more popular?
I think Dark's is in his like own special category because with the right partner he can pressure the lane a lot, so he good at creating space. But I think in general, I definitely agree with you that having an initiating type off lane is going to fit better with the lone druid. Something that's a bit more disruptive. Often those like mech carrier type offlaners, your Darkseers, your Tides, your Underlords take a bit more farm and time to come online, and that's not the kind of hero you want to pair up with a lone druid. Because of the lone druids needing more space and time to get up to those critical items.
Crystal Maiden.
Dire team pick.
One of the better supports against Slider in some ways. That Frostbite maxed out
10
6-second
seconds
cooldown
remaining.
is crazy. You can't just go blink crushing
5
in
seconds
willy-nilly,
remaining.
and if you do so, you often get punished by a Crystal Maiden, so it does give them some reliable lockdown
Reserve time.
to fight around, and I imagine they're going to be looking to pick up some core heroes that can benefit a lot from that Arcane Aura, because right now, Dazzle Lone Druid's kind of like, not really anything great to fight around the Aura. Both kind of get some small benefit from it, but not all that much. Yeah, what are they? Warlock.
Liquid's turn to pick.
Okay. Fatal Bonds the bear to the rest of his team. I mean, that bear's going to be very squishy with the lone druid builds we're seeing these days. So they're going very heavy on the team fight right now. The Warlock, the Brewmaster,
10
long
seconds
cooldowns to
remaining.
fight around in the offering as well as the Primal Split. But
5
anytime those
seconds
ultis
remaining.
are up, I don't see Liquid matching up in any kind of a team fight sense, at least not with their current 3 picks.
Reserve time.
Weaver.
Dire team pick.
Mm-hmm.
Sessions. So I'm okay with this. I'm presuming they're going to do some sort of aggro
10
or dual
seconds
lane set.
remaining. 5 seconds
I
remaining.
wonder how this works with the lanes and player allocations, because typically you would
Reserve
expect to see
time.
Miracle Matu playing like the 2 main carries, which would be Weaver Lone Druid, while Mind Control like team fight esque role, and they have zero team fight. Like, yeah, you want to avoid team fights, but I still think you need some kind of 1 lockdown and 2 like team fight control. Like, there is absolutely nothing for Liquid. Yeah, you're not going to be fighting into the Rock and the Brewmaster, but how you can't just solely rely on like farming and split pushing. At some point, you need to be finding some pickoffs and killing off Cloud9 core heroes to win this game. So that to me is like a must for them. Yes.
Against Druids, I think some pride. I'll say Ember Spirit is still in the
Turn to
pool,
ban.
whether or not they want to run that. I think Ember Spirit gets a pretty good rep here. He does have to deal with the Frostbite, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of disable on Team Liquid.
Dire team ban.
You can still Remnant out of the Frostbite, I believe. You know if that's the case? Yeah, because you can Remnant. It's one of those. I mean, I've heard like players complain about it where it's like Storm Spirit can't pull Lightning out of stuff like Frostbite. For whatever reason, Ember Spirit can Fire Remnant out. So it's
10
like
seconds
root
remaining.
mechanics doesn't make a whole.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Ember Spirit
5
got the
seconds
biggest
remaining.
buffs ever when it comes to the root mechanic. He's got a root and he ignores roots. Times.
Reserve time.
Yeah, I guess that so the Frostbite will really only apply, I guess, when he and they've got some
Liquid's
slows
turn
to
to pick.
Airblade.
There's the building hitter, and something that will force Liquid to come back and defend or quickly lose key infrastructure. Another long cooldown to fight around in the Metamorphosis, but that's... I mean, that can be
10
good and bad. It means
seconds
when you've got those ultis, you're very strong. It's very unlikely Liquid want to fight into you. And then the bad is, well, the
5
downtime.
seconds remaining.
I think anytime you're running up against a lone druid, most of the time you're going to want to have some sort of
Reserve
range damage dealer. I was thinking of, like SF or heroes. OD was also still cool, but here they go for the Ember Spirit mid and then a ranged safe lane carry, Terror Blade, that's also going to threaten, I think, the timing that lone druid kind of at its weakest.
Yeah, they also banned Tinker, which is like a must when playing Terrorblade. I hopped on that a lot the other day. I just feel like it needs to be said. You've got to ban Tinker if you're playing Terrorblade as like your main carry.
10 seconds remaining.
That makes Terrorblade just like useless hero. Centaur last pick, yeah. I don't think Tinker would have been a great pick for Liquid because it felt like they must pick like some kind of control, but it works so well as a Terrorblade counter. They do go for the mind control hero in the Centaur, which probably puts Lone Druid in the mid lane. I guess Liquid leave a bit of flexibility with Weaver as a gimmicky mid possibility, but the Lone Druid versus Ember matchup seems like the preferable one here for Liquid their draft.
When Lone Druid first started picking up, I tried to talk about the fact that Lone Druid used to be a pretty decent mid, but we really haven't seen Lone Druid mid, or at least I haven't seen it. And all the times it's been picked up, it's almost always been safe lane carry. Seen any mid lone druids, and how do you think that matchup still goes?
Very few. I've seen at least one, I think, during Starlight, but that was like, I mean, again, that's one. That one example I can think of. It
5
overall,
seconds
it used to work really well because in a straight up 1v1, Lone Druid wins the CS battle against almost any hero. You've got the bear. Where still Lone Druid max out that Spirit Bear early, and level 5 Lone Druid, that's where you've got your kill potential. Normally you think mid lane is, alright, kill potential level 6 or something with your ultimate. Like, that's where an Ember Spirit reaches that first, like, real big threat. But for a Lone Druid, you hit level 5 and you potentially have a timing where you can put some pressure on. So I think Lone Druid does fine mid lane. The problem he normally runs into is the rotations, but this is not a very heavy rotating Cloud9 lineup. The Slider can and will very likely pose some pressure onto this mid lane to try and disrupt the Lone Druid CSing, but Warlock is kind of a static support as far as the laning stage goes, so it's really all up to Neuer too.
Yeah, and it's not the right kind of ganking pressure that you want, right? Slardar is he tries to run in and slither and crush, but that usually should be countered Savage Roar from the Lone Druid. So he may be able to pressure Lone Druid in maybe the first one levels, but later on, when it comes to actual ganking potential, late level 6 on Ember.
Yeah, I think it's like you say, just that first couple of levels where Slider can have an impact, and if Liquid are worried about that first couple of levels, all they have to do is send the Dazzle to the mid lane to start things off, and to kind of poison touch that Slider, or even just if he runs in through a Shadow Wave, it doesn't really matter. Skill build wise, it's just about being there and offering that extra body to help secure Lone Druid that first wave or two of assistance. So, interesting couple of drafts. What do you like in Cap? Like, do you like the team fight cooldown dependent Cloud9 draft more, or are you liking what Liquid have put together?
I think I like what Liquid has a little bit more. I think the Terrorblade last pick was a decent choice in Cloud9. It fit some of the boxes to have versus Cloud9. You need some pushing power. You need to have gold DPS, I think. But the problem I see is that their lineup may just be a bit too slow. It's going to hit really hard at about 20-25 minutes, and they're going to unstoppable 5-man force, but I don't think they win the laning phase hard enough, and they're going to have a small window in the mid game, and then as we start going later, I think they're going to have more and more issues. Liquid's so that's the way I kind of see it. I don't know, what do you
I could see them even when they hit that big scary mid game timing, they're still slow in the sense like they've got to like walk down a lane. They're not going to be able to make any like really fast-paced moves. Like the Ember Spirit, he's got high mobility, but Terrorblade, Warlock, these are heroes that just kind of poddle along down a lane. And as soon as you see that coming, Liquid's got two great heroes to split push with in the Weaver and the Lone Druid. So I think they don't have to meet that 5-man push. They can just go and tackle other lanes at them and force Cloud9 back that way. But I think I'm a little bit more optimistic about Cloud9 just based on how scary they're going to be, and that they can force an early Roshan as well with the Metamorphosis and with their teamfight advantage. I think a lot's going to depend on the Blink Dagger timings of both Slider, Brewmaster. Those first tier 1 towers really need to go down, at a decent time around that like Brewmaster blink. You want to have all those tier 1s down, and then Slatter's blink needs to come online at a good time because he's the only catch they really have to rely on against like this Weaver Lone Druid is going to be his blink dagger.
Fortunately, Rise will be just ahead of this aggressive rotation from Liquid. They've got the 2 supports behind Mind Control. Does spot them a aggressive kind of ward that's going to block out the easy camp pull. Sure, Mind Control is a little bit easier of a time. Looks like they're just going to trade 2 for 2. C9 taking the right-hand side. Left. I actually want to talk about this Weaver and the item builds. We've talked a number of times about the Desolator on Weaver, but it seems to be completely out of touch. Everyone's going to Fusiblade. Is this a one game where you want to see Deso? Because you talked about the split pushing power that Liquid have.
Diffusal's pretty good against the Flame Guard this game. I guess, do you want to Lincolns this game is probably one of the questions. I'm leaning more towards the Lincolns not being necessarily amazing. It is, again, it is though like a 3 position Weaver. It's Miracle playing the center and the safe lane. Actually, I did not expect that to be the case, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the Deso is going to be enough to burst through the high armor of a Terrorblade. I think a Deso against Terrorblade doesn't really do enough. I think you may as well just go for a more defensive build.
Maybe Diffuse Lane, maybe we'll see Mjolnir out there to help deal with the illusions as well. Better option than trying to focus on power hitting and leave that a little bit more to friendly 1v1 Baby Knight in the mid lane, and as expected, doing quite well in both harassment and getting.
These are 2 very favorable 1v1 matchups for Liquid, I feel. The Lone Druid 1v1 has the harass potential and the extra CSing advantage. The Centaur against the Brewmaster may be a bit more of an even lane, but it's more the Miracle versus Hestejo matchup here. I mean, Miracle is a mechanically better player. I mean, Hestejo plays that offlane initiating role. Like, you're not picking him to play that 1v1 type lane and win his lane against a player like Miracle. So I think this is a lane that Miracle should come out on top of as well.
You've got the supports battling up against each other. Noya's really trying to force GH to use this shrine. He was trying to pressure into the river, see if he could actually get to him. He's trying to shove him completely out of the jungle. Make sure this frostbite isn't possible. What? Miracle, you can't do that. You can't do that to me. Get a kill against
the salve
brew?
on the tower. Oh my god. He would have died to the tower hits, but the salve kicks in. Dang. Okay.
And that's going to be very early. Tranquil Boots. Wow. Let's he just get that kill level 2 against a Brewmaster?
He just looked like he just walked in and dived him with double edge at the tower. Walked away. It's casual, you know. He used that first hoof stomp just to get him down to half HP, and then the second one to dive the tower with. So Hestejo just misplaying the lane a bit, and again, that's where I feel like the 1v1 matchup's very favorable for Liquid. Miracle is just going to be able to outplay almost most opponents in a 1v1 setting, outside of some of those like class mid laners like No One, Sumail. He'll do just fine in this matchup.
Spirit 13 and 6, so despite all the harassment, he is doing decent. We'll check back in on that level 5 area. Hestejo getting a bit aggressive on a Miracle here, but doesn't keep up this pressure. You're going to see the power of Tranquil Boots start turning this lane against Hestejo. Dropping those boots. Keep that cooldown going and eke out a little bit.
So it does seem like Liquid have been deterred from maintaining their aggression at top with the supports. The CM falling back to the jungle to get the early level 2 Arcanor. I say early, but it doesn't really feel that early. And Kuro now showing up in the mid lane for some extra harass, and perhaps just thinking he can force some rotations out of the Cloud9 supports, give Mind Control a slightly easier lane by posing a threat in this mid lane.
Yeah, it seems like most of all that GH God doesn't really want to be in top lane anymore, because Noya has so effectively threatened him and taken away that jungle option. He's going to go into safer parts of the Radiant jungle where Noya can't be as disruptive, and as a result, Kuro's going to want Mind Control's best left solo at this point. My extra presence does. Kuro's kind of left with that at home at this point. Be a little bit of harassment at mid. Maybe he can rotate bottom at one point. Going to be one of those dazzles that left with a question mark. Not sure.
Nice Savage Roar from the bear, gets the Arcane Rune secured for, well, the Spirit Bear itself, which isn't going to do much, but denying that rune for Baby Knight makes this lane a bit harder for him because he doesn't have that bottle refill at a crucial timing when Lone Druid just hits level 5, so this is where it gets tough for Baby Knight to CS. He's been on par with the Lone Druid up until now, but that's going to likely change the level 5 pickup, at least, even when he hits level 6, like, yeah, you've got an escape, but you also can't really easily get in there to try and farm.
Radiant's top tower is
Will
under
continue to
attack.
play up in the face of Cloud9, 1 versus 3. C9 hunt him in the jungle, knowing that the Shikuchi was off cooldown, but Light Control does stay a slight step ahead of him. Bottom lane, Joe goes down again. She manages to make that rotation.
Now they've got Stampede, that's dangerous when you can look at the potential for aggression in other lanes as well. Someone like a Lone Druid, if he wants to go for a tower dive, has that to support him. And ideally they want to try and find even another kill on Hestijo before he gets level 6 himself, so really tough bottom lane for Brewmaster.
Joe missing the...
Yeah.
Is going to come over. They're trying to finish up their level 6 on Baby Knight, and then finally we can see Baby Knight and his impact, and I think that first level 6 is going to be so crucial. Can he kill Matumba Man, who's currently killing Rise, who's going to be able to pick up kill for him in that lane. Laning phase seems to be so well for Liquid now.
Yep. And Miracle's just fine. He's played it patiently while he was low HP, let the Trinkle regen get him back to almost full. He saw the rotation with the Observer Ward, with the Slider coming down bottom, so he's like, alright, this lane isn't all too safe. Bears will get full HP, so if Brewmaster wants to commit a split, you can try and counter the Stampede away using that Cyclone, but there's still the big question of can you actually do 1k in damage between the Brewmaster and the Slider, and I think that's going to be pretty tough with just a level 3 Slider.
And has his level 6, but he's popped a Remnant towards mid, so it looks like he's just going to head back to mid lane against. But going to need a rotation. I really feel like they need to make some sort of kill happen with this big power spike in the Ember Spirit, whether it's bottom against Miracle or it's against the Lone Druid. But again, it's a problem with they don't have the right kind of supports to ensure a kill on Matu. I think he can still outplay it with the right Savage.
Same potentially for Miracle at bottom. He's actually could be in a tough spot here.
Yeah, looks like it. He's going to be stunned up, slowed down, turns around, tries to get the kill on Hestijo, actually brings it close to death, but does end up.
He knew the heroes were down there, but he just picked up his wand and raindrop, so he was at a very strong point.
Oh, Jesus, Kuro.
That is a happy sport.
Yeah, very, very happy. What is he? All of a sudden level 5? Remember I was talking about he didn't really have a home, no real laning phase for him. Boom.
Suddenly he's level 5 and gets a good like 600 gold because he gets some CS to follow up the kill. It's raindrop, sentries. He's suddenly got some decent early game items. Potential Stampede now threatens Cloud9. Root at mid. Ember Spirit getting very low here again, and this is where Ember... His CS looks alright right now, but some of that has come from the jungle because he's been forced to pull back and leave this lane.
45, 46, and 15 now on Matu, contesting the Terrorblade for top CS on the board. But Brewmaster and Ember Spirit are still getting a decent amount. In fact, all 3 cores on both sides are getting a good amount of CS, just the kills that are really making the difference. And also the fact that Liquid have this jungler and Crystal Maiden currently up here in the top lane. Ace may get caught out here a little bit, slowed down, managed to eat his way through the trees. Nicely played there. He could have been forced into using a TP.
GH already with the arcane boots, something you often see on the CM necessarily, but is a hero that sometimes struggles to have the mana pool to use all those spells once Freezing Field comes in. And and that's where I feel at some point he's just going to accept, like, okay, I can't fight this mid lane. He either needs rotations to come to his lane, or he needs to be the one rotating. Like, I don't think there's a necessarily right or wrong between those two options, but something needs to happen involving the Ember Spirit. He's the hero with the gap close. He's the hero that can make plays happen. Perhaps give Warlock like the mid lane to get level 6 and start rotating to a side lane, because right now Liquid are just winning the laning stage. Part of the problem is, though, if he tries to rotate, there is good ward coverage on the side lanes. The mid lane, the bottom lane, even slightly to the north side, there's Radiant detection to scout any movement off of this lane from Baby Knight.
Miracle is very rapidly going to be one of those heroes who can't gank anymore with the Ember Spirit. If he completes this Hood of Defiance, that'll be a big magic upgrade.
Then the question becomes, who can you gank? Weaver, good escape. Lone Druid, good escape. Centaur, just too tanky. And it also has some escape in the Stampede, so all three cores will be very difficult to gank and will require just like a couple of heroes, but 3, 4, 5 heroes to be invested in a smoke gank to actually find those kills.
Baby Knight's going to come over now, but with the ward mid and also the pressure and presence of Matu, it becomes a pretty clear read. So Baby Knight doesn't even fish walking bottom. Miracle already playing. Fair enough. They keep trying to give Noya a little bit of space to farm as well. Savage Roars goes down. Looks like they really want to get this kill on the bear, but they did not have Crush back up. So not even a gank on the Spirit Bear is going to work out for Cloud9. Ace is going to be Dova top lane. Does have the Sundered. Managed to get it off. Pops a Metamorphosis. Looking to finish off GH. Freezing Field doesn't bring down Ace, but Mind Control will. In the end, well worth it. Loss of GH for that core. Now Mind Control is going to be dove up. Gets the top. Good.
Yep, that's Metamorphosis even used, which means if Cloud9 were thinking, okay, this lane stage is going horribly, let's at least secure some T1 towers, group up with the Metamorphosis, push something down, they've now got to wait another 2 minutes. So they lose the mid T1 tower, this is all going on. Matu getting very farmed off of this, and I am very concerned for Liquid. I mean, you kind of nailed it in your analysis of the draft where it just feels like they're going to be too slow paced. Their early game has been very lackluster. There hasn't really been anything happening on the map from the Cloud9 side. They lost 2 of the lanes for sure, and that one lane, the off lane, the Weaver still got plenty of farm out of it, so they're not really looking in very great shape right now.
I think my favorite thing is it's not just the heroes, but the way Team Liquid's playing it. Every single time that Cloud9 tries to do some sort of efficiency thing, right? They leave Rise in middle while the Ember Spirit's farming is level 6, or they're leaving Noya at top lane while the Terrorblade is farming Uncle. They punish that so quickly. They're so quick to actually Mind Control's diving tower against Noya. The supports looks like they're trying to rotate and get a kill on this Slardar. They're not letting Cloud9 play an efficiency game because they are so slow. That is the one advantage that Cloud9 can actually find for themselves. Kuro be caught out a little bit by Baby Knight. There goes the jump away on the Remnant after that Frostbite. Noya manages to stop the Freezing Field. Now the follow-up here from the Golems. GH is brought low, but now they have the Stampede and the Shallow Grave to be able to keep him alive. Noya is low enough, but Mind Control not really feeling comfortable with the dive here, especially with the corrosive hits on him. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they do manage to get the kill on Hesta Joe. Miracle brought himself to around 250 HP, still good enough, but isn't enough to survive through this. He does still have the hood to be able to turn and fight, but the physical damage is there. He's got to stop. He's going to win this 1v1. Oh, double kill for Miracle. That is the one playmaking hero that Cloud9 have, and he just fed a kill to Miracle Centaur.
Yeah, and it's not done. The damage is going to continue. It's going to get worse. This top lane, oh, okay, maybe no kills here, but Mind Control just continuing to get up in their face. It was a disaster before that Ember died. Like, you commit your first Warlock Rock as well as an Ember Spirit rotation. An Ember Spirit rotation with an Arcane Rune, and you get 0 kills. You drop a rock and have the Ember there. You're expecting 2 kills minimum, I'd say, and they got nothing. And then suddenly you're losing heroes. Like, that is about the worst possible case scenario for Cloud9 that you can imagine.
Matu spin the silent assassin of towers. He took the tier 2 during that whole entire thing. A tier 2 mid
He's
already
soloing Roche.
Gone by 13 minutes, and he's going to try and solo Roshan with his DD.
He's got a second bear, so I believe this is possible. We'll find out.
Tree summon, and unless something tips Cloud9 off, which they don't really have any vision. Oh, did you see the bugs?
I mean, at this point with the bugs, this Roche will drop too fast to get in here in time. Sejo's in the neighborhood, doesn't have a blink though, so he may just get Savage rolled away or go down. I mean, he just doesn't realize it.
Boom. He realizes it now. Was way too late. Liquid Matumba Man has an Aegis. He's got Dragonlance coming in. He's got a Maelstrom. This is looking like Cloud9 need a miracle to come back in this game.
This is Currently could change. The biggest stomp we've had so far in these DAC qualifiers, but I mean, Cloud9 need to hit that mid-game teamfight timing. We talked about the blink daggers like needing to come fast, or their early game being as bad as it was means they're not going to come quite when they'd hope. Hestejo gets solo killed. Means his is, I mean, 14, 15 minutes isn't too bad, but considering you have a 1v1 lane, you're expecting it perhaps a little bit faster. Slatters with the laning stage going to be very late as well, and by the time you get these blinks, Liquid going to have all these tanky survivable items that make them hard to kill. I mean, they've got the Aegis as well as the Dragonlance on Machu. You're going to have lost all map control, all your outer towers. Now,
he's going to be caught out by surprise with the Blink Dagger. Do they have the burst damage of the Stampede? They've got the kill. He can't even seem to finish off the Veil of Discord. Such a critical tempo item for the Ember Spirit to give him that big boost in damage, and he can't even finish that much. Cloud9 are now losing their tier 2 at the top lane. They have to rotate multiple heroes if they want to be able to save it. Even then, not sure if they can actually find a kill. Maybe they can. GH going to be caught by the Corrosive Haze and a Crush, but Noya being returned on by Matumba Man. They will manage to throw out the Golem, stopping the Freezing Field and catching Matu in the process, slowing him down. Savage Roar back. They desperately need this kill, but they don't have a blink up. 3 more seconds, and Matumba Man's running fast enough that they can't seem to get him. Bottom lane, Baby Knight's going to try and put a stop to this tier 2. Matumba Man does manage to make the TP out at top lane, just ahead of that clap. And Liquid are going to take the other tier 2 on the other side of the map. Cloud9 defend one tower, but they can't defend.
Well,
continues to look grim. Another rock being used.
There's a clap into an ultimate. Maybe he can actually get another support here, just like they got GH. Looks like they'll be able to defend this tier 2 tower near death and be able to pick up a support for their efforts. But Liquid are going to immediately play aggressive on the opposite side of the map. Knowing all those rotations came up, they're going to pop the Stampede. Ace has to play this perfectly. He needs to get off the Sunder before the jump in from Miracle here, but the Lincolns prevents all of this. Just ends up dying like that. And I don't think even if he did get off the Sunder, Matumba Man was in the other side of things, so I don't think he would have gotten out one or the other.
Yeah, not really an escape. And at this point, Cloud9 are committing ultimates for support. Primal Split for a Dazzle, a Rock for a Crystal Maiden at top. It's not their intention by any means. They're going for the bigger prize, and they also, the only way they get these supports is by committing these ultimates, but it really tells the full tale of this game, which is an astronomical lead. 10,000 gold at 16 minutes, but it's also just the fact that Liquid's Lamp is going to scale better at this point. They've taken full control. The map, they've taken almost every single tier 2 tower, just the one at bottom lane remaining, and they're in a position where they could feasibly break through the high ground very early on, so they're going to even start chipping away with the bear.
3 cores beating on this tier 3 tower. Now, what they don't realize is there is a fresh Blink Dagger on Noya, and this could be big. This could be the opportunity for a turnaround for Cloud9. They're going to jump onto mind control, see if they can get the control into him, but Miracle! What a stomp to put everything on hold. He'll finish off Hestejo rotten before any chance of Cloud9 finishing off that kill on mind control. Now it's the tier 3 being chipped away to death. The slow death for Cloud9, it seems. Matumba Man, one by one, is going to be able to hit them down. Ace now gets jumped on by Miracle. Drop low. Sunder does go off. He's immediately going to drop anyway, but Matumba Man is low enough. Maybe not. I thought Baby Knight could actually get that kill, but he still has the Aegis. It's not worth committing. Melee Rax is under assault, and Liquid are a force not to be stopped at 18 minutes.
It is GG o'clock cap. There is nothing. There is nothing to turn. This game is like, I'm getting like this is miserable to watch. I mean, if you're a Liquid fan, it's great. I'm not even from like a fan perspective of either of these teams, but just the way Liquid have dominated Cloud9. It's impressive, and Cloud9 have not had a single opening into this game. They have just taken small little scraps. They've had to just throw so much to get those little scraps. It is brutal right now.
Almost a 15,000 gold to 18 minutes. There's the Mjolnir now complete. Line control as his Lincolns that we saw earlier, and as a Drance if you want. We're going to have an Aghanim Centaur. He's got Blink Pipe Ags. So if you thought the heroes were hard to kill before, with Cloud9's lack of damage, it's going to get that much harder. But
Matu's
maybe,
Aegis is about to expire. He's going to be careful.
Could be the perfect time. Jump on Matu as the Aegis expires. Instead, they're going to see Kuro. Try and pop him. Don't have the damage. They don't have the distance. Now there's going to be a potential turnaround. They got the bugs on them. Keeping them back. They go ahead and put the static charge onto mind control. is trying to threaten that tier 1 tower. Liquid will wrap from that high ground, start attacking Ace. Ace is dropping low here just from the bear and the lightning procs. He does have the Thunder jump in for Miracle, is able to finish him off. Matu's protected by mind control. The golem is dropped. They're trying to go into Miracle. Back lines. Baby Knight's going to threaten Matumba Man. He does have the corrosive Ace on him. Maybe they can actually get this kill until Kuro intervenes. They get the shallow grave off. Matu may still end up going down, but it's going to cost Cloud9 so much. They're going to lose Noya. They may just end up losing Hesta. Joe barely gets out of his ultimate in time. That was the last remaining Panda. Hesta Joe looks like he's just going to be walked on here. They do have a stomp coming in on the Centaur. That will be down from Cloud9. They lost 2 of their cores, 1 of their support. It's just Baby Knight who walks away from that. Cloud9, they got Matu finally, and they actually got them a good amount of gold.
They killed a core hero for once. That's a development for them, but that cost them every single ultimate. And then it's like Cloud9's meant to like win a fight convincingly, take a tower or 2 with their ultimates, and then have to back off and play defensively. Well, they got 1 kill and lost 3, and now they're going to have to back off and probably watch another Rax go down, if anything, because once Matu's back, TP's in, we're looking at Liquid pressing for high ground. 50 seconds, no Metamorphosis, even longer without the split or the Chaotic Offering. Fighting right now is damn near impossible.
Mind control going Deso next, but that's probably more to do with how far ahead Liquid are and wanting to finish this game off than anything else. Miracle's got that Aghanim Scepter. Cloud9, meanwhile, there's really not much to talk about. Items, Baby Knight, gonna try and work towards a Blink Dagger after that Boots of Travel, but the thing is that Boots of Travel upgrade that it got, it doesn't really change how they do this fight. Liquid beating on the tier 3 towers, no responses from Cloud9. They have their blink up, but they don't have the... Oh no! Blink Dagger canceled there on Noya. Looks like he got lightning shocked right before he wanted to jump in. Without the golems, it seems a futile effort for Cloud9 to try and contest. They're going to try and jump on a mind control. Miracle immediately responds. 2-man stomp. Shallow Grave is there as well. GH on top of everything else with a freezing field. Ace is trying to target the backline, trying to go for Matu, but Matu's going to kite him around. He's now at a distance. They can turn, fight with the bear, gets the roots. Sunder goes off, trying to finish off Kuro, but the heals are too much to handle. He does finish off the bear, which actually kills Lone Druid the hero. So Baby Knight gets both the 300 gold and the kill for the kill. Hesta Joe, though, he's being targeted by Miracle, and the amount of magic damage they have, they'll bring him down. Baby Knight can still fight this one out, though. Maybe he can actually get a kill and a support. Never mind. They just seem too tanky. Baby Knight has to hide underneath the shrine, gets that one off, doesn't have a remnant for another second. They bring him down as well. I mean, there's buybacks, but at this point, I'm not sure if killing the supports are going to be able to bring this game back for Cloud9. Kuro manages to get off the shallow grave. They bring down Noya. Anyway, Baby Knight caught inside the frostbite into a stomp. Remnant up, gets away, but Miracle's going to pursue. 3 more seconds till the Blink Dagger's up. Mind Control can just finish him off with physical damage. Instead, they wipe Cloud9 again and again and again, and finally beat them into submission, dominating this game 1. Liquid, 22-6 in 22 minutes.
Yeah, this felt like more the Liquid like we were expecting to show up yesterday. Just like crushing their lanes, having a dominant early game. Yesterday we saw them go for like a weak laning set where they had a Shadow Fiend with a Naga Siren. They did do an impressive job that game, like turning things around, coming back and securing their late game, but this is like, I think, the kind of Liquid